Do you dream of going on a luxury cruise, but you're not quite sure where to go, nor are you sure about what actually happens once you're on board? Well, in today's show, I'll be sharing 4 insights that can help you in your planning process for you to get ready for this wonderful experience. Hi, I'm Bybreen Samuels, and welcome to the Smart Years. Here, I share insights to help baby boomers who want to reinvent, thrive, and live well into their third act of life. Well, 6 months ago, I got back from my very first cruise and I went to Gran Canaria. So I sailed from here in the UK across to Gran Canaria, then across to the Caribbean. And we went to Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, Martinique, and Barbados. And then we flew back from Barbados here to London. Now, the cruise experience was wonderful. And no doubt you have this desire, but you're not quite sure where to start. Well, there are a whole range of cruise companies. Some you may already be familiar with. P&O, for example, MS Cruises, Norwegian, Cunard, and Royal Caribbean are just to name a few. Now, when you're thinking of this cruise holiday experience, the first thing to take account of is the planning for the actual cruise. Now, what I mean by this is, do you want to go on a solo cruise? So it's just you want to take time to chill out and just be with yourself, but be around other people. Or are you part of a group of friends like I was? Or are you looking for a family holiday? Or is it more of a multi-generational holiday? So you've got a selection in terms of thinking about what type of holiday do you want? And then take your time regarding researching the different levels of cruise lines, what it is that they have to offer. Can they really accommodate what it is that you're looking for? Now, the earlier you do this means that you might be able to pick up some really good bargains, early booking. But an even better suggestion is the one that we followed through on, and we went on what is known as a repositioning cruise. Essentially, what this means is that the cruise line has finished a season. Let's say it's finished the summer season and is getting ready for the winter season, but in another part of the world. Hence why the ship is being repositioned. Now, repositioning can happen at various points in the year, but it tends to be in the shoulder seasons. And those months are February and October, where it's out of season, the children are at school, and it tends to be lower prices. And so the repositioning is a wonderful opportunity for you to have the full cruise experience, having all the amenities, but just at a cheaper price. So as part of your planning, you're looking at the different cruise lines. Do they meet your needs? But if you are looking for a bargain, look out for repositioning cruises that go all over the world. So do this early enough. Maybe, give it a good 6 to 9 months run up to when you go. So we got all of our plans in place, really started to research it. 6 months, 6 or 7 months actually, before we actually sailed. The second area that you want to be paying attention to is the preparing for the cruise. So with the planning season, you've identified where you're going, you've paid a deposit, and now you're in the preparation phase. And with the preparation phase, I would suggest that you actually identify milestones. So what I did was, once I put down my deposit, that sort of really started to get me into the holiday mood. And I set some milestones. And the first one was about paying off the final payment, which I was able to do way before the deadline. So that was the first thing. Secondly, given that we were traveling a good few months away, what I did was looked at, well, how am I actually going to get to Southampton? And so for you, if you're a non-driver like myself, getting to your port. And so what I did was I booked some rail tickets. about 3 months in advance, and so that was another milestone. It was like, "Okay, I know how I'm gonna get there. I've ticked that off, and now I'm really looking forward to the holiday." The main category to pay attention to in the preparation are your clothes. Now, there are 4 types of clothing that you should be taking with you on a cruise. So you have day wear, you have swimwear, you have evening wear, as well as formal wear. So when you're packing, just think about these 4 categories of clothes. Now, when you are just doing a port to port holiday, then you might be able to take more because you're literally just taking your luggage, you're going onto the ship, and then you cruise and you come back to port. We were cruising out there, but we were flying back. So we had a limitation of about 22 kilos because we were flying back from Barbados. So check with regards to how you getting there, how you getting back, and what's the weight, the quantity of the clothes that you can take. Now, it's really important that you split down these different categories because once you do get onto your ship, you will have something which is called like a daily bulletin. On P&O, who I sailed with, it was called Horizon. Now, in this bulletin, it's packed with all of the activities. It's packed with information in terms of what's happening on the actual cruise line for that particular day, all of the activities, all the different restaurants, and also it gives you an indication as to what type of clothes should be worn for dinner. So there's a couple of evenings where you have the captain's dinner, hence the formal wear. And I have to say, it's a beautiful sight to see thousands of people dressed up to the nines going to dinner. So hence why when it's particularly captain's night, there are certain things you can't wear. And that's the reason why having a sense of the different categories of clothes is really going to help you. And then as you're preparing your clothes, there's so much that can be done on board. And that's the third area. It's the onboard experiences. And I want you to think about the cruise line as a floating city. It literally accommodates all of the things that are really in our cities. So from an entertainment point of view, there's pubs and there's bars and there's restaurants and there's casinos and then there's nightlife, there's discos, there's live music, there's theater, there's onboard talks and presentations, and there's an art gallery and there's exhibitions. I mean, literally everything that you encounter in your daily city is on the ship. So there is so much to do. You're spoilt for choice. And that's why it's really important that you pay attention to what is in the daily bulletin. And what happens is that every day this bulletin will be distributed to your cabin, and then you can plan your day. Or if you want to escape all of the activity, you don't want to be up partying every night. But you do want to be dipping in and out. There's activities that run from the very early mornings. So, for example, the gym, which I spent quite a bit of time in, is open 24/7. You've got spa on there. You've also got areas on ships, and no doubt it will be the same on others as it was on P&O, where you can just find these spaces, these beautiful little spaces where you can just snuggle up with a book and a cocktail and watch the world go by, or just, read or knit or play games. They even had a games room on ship. So there's so much to do. Now, if you're somebody who wants to spend some of your time maybe writing, maybe reading, or doing some kind of creative activity, then make sure that you bring that activity with you on board, because even there is so much going on board, you can equally use the time to update your skills or whatever it is that's going to bring you a level of pleasure and enjoyment. So the onboard experiences are vast and there is so much selection that you can choose from. And then the fourth area are the onshore excursions. Now, there are two types. You have the ones that you can book via the cruise line. And then you can do those that are independent. Maybe you've got friends on the island, or you just don't really want to be part of a group tour. You want to go off and do your own thing or with your own small group. You can do that. And so there's so much that can be booked on board. But the thing you must pay attention to is the boarding time. Now, cruise lines are very strict with this. If they tell you to get back by 6 o'clock, get back by 6 o'clock. The reason being is because obviously they're on a schedule, and they are so strict with this that if you do not meet the boarding time, they will sail away and leave you. So, if you're somebody who's a bit relaxed when it comes to time, if you're doing those onshore excursions, make sure that you get back on time. One other thing that I want to talk about, the cuisine. Now, I'm a vegan, and even though P&O had like 30 eateries, restaurants and cafes that you could go and eat on, I have to say there was a limitation in terms of vegan food. So there were times I had to eat stuff that was vegetarian with maybe a bit of cheese or milk in it, because otherwise the menu was very limited. So, as part of your planning and the onboard experiences, I would say make sure that you check out the menus, because once you book your ticket and you've paid, you've got access to your own dashboard. But I didn't pay too much attention. It was like, okay, they've got a whole range of restaurants. Of course, they're going to have a wide selection of vegan food. Sadly, they didn't. So if you're somebody who doesn't eat the ordinary diet and you have more variety, or some might even say more restricted, but it could be a lot healthier, then pay attention to what it is that they have to offer. One thing I have to say, that there was a lot of processed food on board. And if you're somebody who tends to eat a healthier diet, which is what I lean more towards, then it does present a little bit of limitation. The other thing that was quite surprising was that P&O didn't really reflect the cultural experiences and the countries that it was sailing to. So the majority of the cruise was a Caribbean cruise, and yet there wasn't any Caribbean food on board in all of the 30 restaurants and places you could go and eat. So that was a bit of a disappointment, purely because food forms so much part of the cultural experience wherever we go in the world. So pay attention to the cruise lines and the variety of food that they offer. Notwithstanding that, it didn't take away necessarily too much from the wonderful cruising experience. You're in an environment whereby you are enjoying luxury and ease and being catered for. So if you're somebody who wants to travel in style, you can do it for a relatively cheaper price or a lower price, depending on when you go during the year. If you go through the shoulder seasons, as I mentioned, February or October, and you're looking out for repositioning cruises, then you really can pick up a bargain. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you in terms of, if you desire to go on a cruise, what it is that you need to pay attention to. And the 4 areas are the planning of the cruise, identifying where you want to go and what type of holiday that you want. Then preparation, set your milestones. Then there are the onboard experiences. And there's so much to choose from that you will be spoilt for choice. And then you have the shore excursions, and just paying attention to when they say come back at a particular time, don't test them. So I'd love to hear, what are your cruise experiences? Have you been? What was it like? Are you planning on going on a cruise? And where are you thinking of going? Put your comments in the comment box below. I would love to connect with you. Travel is such a wonderful experience in terms of how it just opens us up. And I plan to do even more of it. I'm quite a seasoned traveler and want to do more. And I want to hear some of your travel experiences. Put your comments in the comment box below, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and let other baby boomers know who are keen to reinvent themselves, thrive, and live well into their third act of life. Stay well, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye bye.